Welcome, everybody, to the second race in the round of 8 for the ARCS Darkside Mustangs A2 Cup Series. Qualifying underway, and was going to be a very interesting race for us here tonight. I'm Carmen, Sienna, alongside me Kevin Young as we go live tonight. Immediately undergoing some technical issues here in Homestead-Miami Speedway for the ARCS Miami 200.
Well, we don't but still not going to stop these cars going around here tonight and try to continue on the path for a championship.
And now we're watching it.
So it's qualifying.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, as qualifying has just completed halfway here, we'll quickly give you a quick rundown of who is where at the moment. Right now, as we were just about to say something, Brandon Proudfoot, who we were just watching there as we came on live, that was a pole lap there. He is now on pole position, and he will lead the field presumably to green unless Tommy Wimmers or Emma Kruger can get out there and set a time. But going down the field right now, it's Proudfoot, then it's Michelle, Wanzing, Oberstadt, Feather Place, Reynolds, Gaiman, Ryan Pennell, Wright, Feemster, and Alfred George. You're all 11 drivers so far that have set times. In the front row would be Proudfoot and Michelle, highest player driver also being Michelle at the moment. Proudfoot obviously taking this opportunity to do some extra little warm-up laps here to try to get in tune with the car. As we know, as a non-playoff driver, he's going to use this opportunity, obviously, to be a bit of a spoiler and maybe gets a little bit of extra laps here to try to make sure that number 22 is dialed in. Because Presidential Racing is one of the few teams that has not gotten a win yet this season. They've been knocked on the door a couple times, had a couple podiums, and are looking to try to get out of that goose egg. And now we'll cut on board here with Kevin Feemster. He did one lap now, but it looks like he had a mistake coming on his second lap here. So this lap will not be for much here. He's just going to preemptively finish the second lap here and maybe take some warm-up. But the other Presidential Racing machine of 21, I'm going to do an extra lap here or two.
Again, we're missing our overlays at the moment. For those that are tuning in, missing our overlays because an issue with SDK. So we are trying to get that figured out now.
Yep. So we'll have to do this old radio style, minimalistic graphics like it's the 60s, 70s, 80s, even somewhat into the early 90s. So we're doing this old school style here. May not be a throwback race, but at least a throwback in the broadcasting side at the least. So while we take this opportunity, I guess we'll also update the playoffs here. We'll do a quick rundown of who is where coming into tonight. Josh Gaiman, if you weren't here last week, he won the last week race at Las Vegas they were at, and he is locked into the Final Four. So that number 61 machine for B-Tron, he will not have to worry about these next 2 weeks at Homestead and Martinsville, and he'll be fighting for a championship. However, continuing down the list, Brandon Featherplace had a great run. He is 12 above the cut line, currently in second position. Seth Wanzing is next. He is 8 points above in third. And David Wright is the cut line at the moment. I know last week we said Wright and Reynolds were tied. That was a bit of a misstep. David Wright right now is the cut line at 4,039. Then Daniel Michelle, the number 25, currently on the front row. He's in fifth. He is 3 points behind David Wright. Tommy Reynolds, he is currently in sixth. Had a bit of a last lap catastrophe with Daniel Michelle. He is currently in sixth position, 8 points back. Stefan Oberstadt, 9 points back in seventh. And Emma Kruger going to have the biggest work to do right now at the moment. Looks like she'll be slotting in P12 unless she elects to qualify. Actually, not enough time to set a lap, so she'll be in P12. And she is 21 points to the bad. Currently in eighth. Going to need a good run here at Homestead in Miami. Homestead and Martinsville next week, try to get back into these playoff hunts. Let's look at the clock. We have 30 seconds left here in warm-up. Qualifying, I should say. Then 5 minutes warm as Proudfoot ends up hitting the barrel, similar to Larson did in the real-life race. And he will tow it back to pit lane, and that pretty much be that as we wait out the clock here to finish up.
And for those that are tuning in, I appreciate everyone being patient with us at the time being. However, we are still undergoing technical issues with SDK at the moment. Hoping that these are resolved soon. We're trying to get a backup option ready to go as well as qualifying little laps here.
We'll now have a 5-minute warm-up here.
5 minutes for...
So there's a good chance for practicing pit road entry and exit. Some will do that. Others may take this as an opportunity to fine-tune their lines or fine-tune what they need to or to get themselves comfortable here tonight. It's going to be 134 laps here in Homestead. 2 stages. Yep, for people, again, tuning in, we said it twice, and since Dogman's in the chat, we'll say it thrice. SDK is currently having a bit of technical difficulties here at the moment, trying to get this to work out here. So we're going old school, at least for the time being, until we can get this fixed out. So again, thanks for tuning in. We will get SDK working as soon as we can, or an alternative. But for right now, it is going to be old school broadcasting here as we're currently in warm-up. Those drivers are going around here. Still follow on the number 22 here, our pole sitter for tonight. We will be leading the field with the green flag, using this, again, last bit of time here for warm-up. Number 22, Presidential Racing Machine, Brandon Proudfoot. So across the line here will be second fastest in the warm-up. Daniel Michelle, the other front row car, is going to go slightly faster here to start warm-up. Just under 2.5 minutes left on the clock, or just above, about to be just above here, 2:39 to be exact. Should give, at the rate of a lap, should give drivers, if they want, 4 more laps, if they so choose. Daniel Michelle, I was going to say Daniel Michelle. Seth Wansing, though, jumps up to 3rd place here with a good lap here. Other drivers are now electing to kind of jump up here through their order and put down times. So 1 minute 30 to go here in warm-up. Feels like warm-up always goes by quite quickly. So we just hit under the 1 minute mark here in warm-up. Daniel Michelle still has the fastest time in warm-up at the moment. And it's Proudfoot, Wansing, Gaiman, Featherplace, your top 5. Field is relatively close, at least the top 5 are. 3 tenths separates the 1st to the 5th. So a lot of strong contenders in there. 4 out of 5 of those are playoff drivers. I listed off. And even if you go through the top 7, it's all covered within 4 tenths. And that is consisted of 6 out of the 8 playoff drivers in the field. The other 2 drivers being Stefan Oberstadt and David Wright. 15 seconds to go as Gaiman clips the wall a little bit. You see now he's on the inside here, going to stop here, tow back to pit lane. Will not be able to take another lap here as we're just under 8 seconds to go. We are going to get ready for them to grid up, and we will get ready to start this ARCS Miami 200 here on ABN1. All right, so warm-up has officially concluded here. So we get ready to cars will push on in here. They will grid up and we'll quickly go over the starting grid here as they will tow on in. Brandon Proudfoot will take the field to green as he now officially tows in. He will be joined by Daniel Michelle, and they'll take up the front row here first and second. Moving further down the grid, we got Seth Wanzing and Stefan Oberstadt. Good run for him in the number 3 machine. They will make up row number 2. Third row will be Brandon Featherplace and Tommy Reynolds will make up 5-6. Josh Gaiman, last week's winner, will be in 7th, and he will have Ryan Pinnell to his outside in row number 4. David Wright will be in row 5, along with Kevin Feemster. Alfred George will be in the same row with Tommy Withers in row 6, and Emma Kruger will be the lone car in row 7, as she will take up last place Billings, but probably won't be last place for long if she has anything to say about it, and she will be in 13th. As the field gets ready to go to green here. Again, 134 laps. Stage 1 will end at lap 25. I believe stage 2 will, I would say 50, but 50 seems a little bit quick. But we know stage 1 ends at 25, so that will be the run for the first stage. Alrighty, so they come off through 3 and 4 here. This looks like Carmen is getting up and almost finished up here. Looks like we'll have at least a little overlay for the viewers here at home.
Gonna be scuffed for a little bit while we try to get things to figure out SDK, but it'll work for now.
Yep, it will work. That's all that matters. It works. So anyway, though, pace car is going to take the pit lane here, and it is going to be green, and green flag is out here in the ARCS Miami 200. All right, these drivers getting the fan out here, trying to find their positioning here. Proudfoot will get the good launch off the wall. Big car going sideways down the backstretch there. That is Kevin Feemster. Gonna go for a wild ride. He won't hit anything though, but he will lose a lot of time in that 21 machine. As you can see on the thing, as the driver moves up in the field, they'll take a green position. If they go red, that means they lost the position. Keep an eye on that while we try to get SDK working, among other things. Right now, battle for second, Peruging on here. Seth Wanzing, Dana Michelle, both Sunday Money Racing cars, fighting hard for second. Looks like Wanzing looking to try to get the run. He will clear. Team Boss will clean Team Driver, and that will be 2-3 for both of them. Right now, Brandon Proudfoot doing what he needs to do at the moment, getting some distance here, getting some breathing room away. Seth Wanzing, obviously, wanted to try to close in on that a little bit. These cars are still pretty much single file here. Everyone's just trying to find their footing here early on. It's a long race. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but you can see there, Alfred George makes a move on team boss Ryan Pinnell for 9th. That Pennzoil machine is moving a bit on the forward side. You can already see a bit of a line economy beginning to form here at the moment. As you can see in the long shot there, Tommy Reynolds, I should say, is kind of taking that high groove, that Larson-Reddick line, if you will, in real life. He's really like to run close to that wall. He's one of those only drivers really going that high, along with Josh Gaiman, both B-Tron cars playing a bit on the aggressive side here, while a similar B-Tron car in Stefan Oberstadt is running low along with both Sunday Money Racing cars here. Right now, let's work at a treat for Reynolds here as he's able to make that high groove work. He's getting some good runs here. Only downside is that's going to burn up the tires a bit more, staying that close to the wall. But right now, with that 7 being in a bit of a hole after last week, 8 points to the negative, needing to try to get above that cut line. He'll take whatever he can get at the moment. And he'll try to get some good stage points here at the end of stage 1, which end on lap 25 as he's looking to make a move in the 25, which I assume there's a bit of no level loss between the two of them. It looks like a little over-underhang for the 7. But the 9's going to kind of be there as a bit of a pick. But he's still going to ride it in deep, and he should clear the 25 here. He successfully will. So put Reynolds up the 3rd, now trying to make it 2nd here as he'll get a run down the backstretch. Reynolds going to come up here, trying to maybe pinch the 9 there. Can't get it done. It's going to allow the 25 to get a run here, too. So Reynolds maybe being a little bit greedy, got caught with a hand in the cookie pot. Can the 25 capitalize? Still side-by-side attitude here. But Reynolds will get the better run, and he will keep the spot. So Michelle will fall down the 4th, now falling into the clutches of Gaiman. Again, 2nd through 7th, all this little pack here we're watching at the moment. Brandon Proudfoot has cleared 1.5. He's up the road. You just see right there entering 1. So a little up the road. Wanzing stuck high side. Looks like Reynolds is going to get the clear done. Now Reynolds will be up the 2nd, but it's going to go up a little bit too aggressive. Oh, Stefan Oberstadt way off there, a little loose. Going to have to take the emergency exit route there on the backstretch. He'll re-merge, but similar to Feemster and Ryan Pinnell, going to lose a couple spots with a bit of an intrusion out of 2. They're still getting pretty racy up 2nd here. Michelle is not going away here at the moment. Keep trying to chip away in the 7. Seth Wanzing against Sunday Money Racing team boss. So they get around the 25, now going to try to challenge. Again, this is music to the ears of the 22 here. He's not really no threat. And every time this goes by, as you can see, is with a little bit of the different OLED we have, we can see the last lap times and the best lap times. It's a bit indicative to kind of see that without being kind of in this true and fro battles, as Seth Wanzing got a little loose. So he's covering that. He's going to lose a couple spots as well. So all not going right for Wanzing here. Luckily still in the top 10, but he's going to be way back in this battle here. Currently at the moment, 7 back from Proudfoot and about 5 back from where he just currently was. Well, he's going to have to get his head down here and try to maybe get a few extra points here. So right now, Reynolds kind of holding off all challengers here. Keeping his nose up front and holding down 2nd position. Michelle not going away here, being aggressive here, wanting to try to get that number 25 machine ahead here. At the very least, running that low line is going to kind of help the 25 in the long run here. So he'll actually get clear of the 7. He'll slide almost up. Can't get it done yet. 7's still there. But if he can keep his cool on the low line here, he should be able to get some good runs here. Ooh, Reynolds taps the wall there just a little bit too greedy there. Run that high line, tips it a bit, gonna cost him some time, and that's gonna ensure Michelle gets 2nd position. And now his teammate, Tommy Reynolds' teammate, Josh Gaiman, is looking to challenge here for 3rd. Okay, because Gaiman won last week. He doesn't really have to be the aggressor. He will actually get around here. Reynolds is going to fall to fourth, now going to be fifth. Now hold that thought on Gaiman, because something worth noting here is we've seen this throughout many weeks of watching this series, is when Reynolds kind of has a mistake or his tires really fall off, he really has trouble getting back on that horse, if you will. He's fast, he's quick, but when he gets that light mistake, it takes him at least a handful of laps to try, or at least a stage, to try to get re-geared back up in order to try to find that speed again. So right now you're kind of seeing it at the moment as he has fallen down to fifth and could easily drop down to sixth here. Now with a little bit of clean air, Daniel Michel trying to maybe hunt down Proudfoot before the stage ends on 25 in order to try to get the lead and maybe win the stage and get those extra points that could come crucial between here at Homestead and Martinsville next week. And right now, as you can see by the times on the board, he is running good times here at the moment, but not getting the speed he needs. Last time by, for example, was favored Proudfoot by 0.2. So here on lap 17, you can see Michel. Proudfoot still leads the way. Got a comfortable distance of 2.3 over Michel. Michel under pressure here from Gaiman. Actually, yeah, Michel's actually clear Gaiman. Sorry, Gaiman's under pressure here from Feather Plays for third. He's just seeing the far shot there. 3, 4, 5, 6, all pretty much under a blanket here. 3 B-Trons and 1 line power. All fighting for the extra points to get, and all 4 of them are playoff drivers. 3 or 4 not locked in. It's all playing for what they can get here. Extra points necessary. There you can see Reynolds looking to finally try to clear Oberstadt on the little timing and scoring light up screen. He'll get it done. So now Reynolds firmly in 5th, Oberstadt down to 6th. But you can see here, Gaiman's kind of fallen off just a tad. And something we kind of noticed throughout the season, Feather Place likes to capitalize at the end of stages. He usually finds his form late in a stage or late in a race. And it's coming to T here at the moment. Steph Wansing, as you can see on the timing scoring, was able to get up spot up. He was able to get around Kevin Feemster, so now he is in 8th position. But he's going to be a little bit of ways away from David Wright, so that's going to probably be the farthest he can go. But Feather Place going to get around the 61. 61 gets a little too high, a little too up, and now 3 P-Tron cars all under a blanket here. All going to scrap this out for what they can get here. So you can see, oh, smack of the wall there. That was Tommy Reynolds. Another little trip in the wall. And that's going to take him out of contention here for this fight for a top 5. And now he's going to fall into the clutches of David Wright. Just looking to try to extend his cut line at the moment. He's going to get a good run off of 4. He's going to try to challenge here. Stage 1 is coming rapidly to a close. Wright's going to get a good run here going into the inside. And with Reynolds being -8, having majority of player drivers being ahead of you right now at the moment is not what the 7 wants to see. But as long as he can win the race or finish strong, it could all be for naught. So again, you're not missing, as we keep kind of watch these little battles fan out. Stefan Oberstadt going to try to make a move on Josh Gaiman for 4th here. It's high and inside at the moment. Looks like he's actually going to clear as we've had 2 to go in the stage. Trying to get all you can get. You're not missing anything up front. Proudfoot is well clear of Daniel Michel. Still gap of 2.4 seconds. And he looks like he's going to cruise to a stage 1 victory. But further down there, you'll see as they come off the shot here, battle for 4th rages on between 2 B-Tron cars. Stefan Oberstadt, we know he's been a bit of a tie-breaking master-o, knowing to come in when he needs to, gets what he needs to by the skin of his teeth, and finishes out advancing onward. And we kind of joke saying, well, not joke, but kind of said that this is kind of the strong tracks he's good at, Homestead and Martinsville. So we'll see if that 3 car can have a resurgence. White flag in the stage here. This Gaiman's living and dying by that high line. Oberstadt going to try to get a run off the low one. Again, stage ends once the 22 cross the line, so they're probably going to be battling through 3 and 4 here. We'll decide it. Coming off of 4, Proudfoot's going to cross the line now, and that will end the stage. So it's going to be the 22 of Proudfoot winning the stage. 25, 34, 61, 3, 42, 9, 7, 21, and 12. We'll finish 1 through 10 in the stage, and we'll all get stage points. That will take us nice to the stage. So Proudfoot is kind of spoiling the other playoff drivers' chances. He will win the stage. And will keep other drivers from getting those max 10 points, stage points. But everyone else will every other playoff driver, though, will get at least some points here to try to make their lives a bit easier. So So as the field gets bunched up here for the pace cars, we should see pit stops occurring here. All cars would come on down to take service. And the whole field take, as no car went a lap down, so no lucky dogs will be necessary here. All cars will pit at the same time if they so choose, which that will be everyone. I'd also assume, if we're going to assume things, 4 tires and fuel will be in the way of row for everyone here. But maybe we'll see one car take an alt strategy here, maybe try something a bit different, take track position, but I doubt it with tires being a bit of a necessity around here, as we saw with Gaiman and others. Gaiman and Tommy Reynolds. So everyone's away here. Brandon Proudfoot will lead the race off pit lane. Then Michelle, Feather Place, Wright, Gaiman, Wanzing, Oberstadt, Feemster. Then Alfred George, as Reynolds and Pinnell will have long stops here, probably to fix up some damage to get their cars, as they did have a few wall taps for both of them. Should be worth noting right now that both Daniel Michelle and Seth Wanzing elected to come down here a second time. Getting the top off, I'd assume, is the name of the game here for both cars. And that is what the case will be. So, both electing the top off. Maybe not feeling comfortable they can make it to the end of the second stage here. Just wanting that safety net of insurance. So as drivers are going to get ready, as this is an A-square restriction, as they do follow the real-life rules, we will see the choose in effect here. So drivers will be elected to choose the lane they feel comfortable with on the restart. We'll see where all cars like to go. It's usually indicative to know if we get late restarts or late cautions, or multiple cautions, and kind of be of a trendsetter. David Wright also just hit the pit lane as well, along with Daniel Michelle again. So very odd they're coming down under the choose. They will start in the back, but very odd. As you can see, the choose effects in the distance. We'll go over that in a second, but just worth noting is that's the second time Michelle's been down the pit lane here. Third time, actually. Second time for David Wright. And they both will start in the back and on the inside. But back to the front we go. You'll see the choose in effect here. It's going to be Proudfoot and Feather Place in row 1. Oberstadt will be in row 2 alongside Josh Gaiman. Kevin Feemster and Seth Wanzing will make up row 3. And then it will be Alfred George and Tommy Reynolds in row 4. And David Wright and Daniel Michelle will both start on the inside line in the 10th and 11th and 12th, 9th and 10th position. And Ryan Pennell is actually currently one down. Luckily, while trying to fix damage, he did take a lap down here. So stage 2 will end at lap 70, so keep that in mind. So probably explains why they're topping off. Some drivers will try to elect to make it to the end. We'll find it if they can. Pace car is off. Green flag is out, and away we go to start stage number 2. So as cars begin to get fanned out here, as we'll see position, you can see 2, 3 wide almost in the back there with Reynolds, Feemster, and Wanzing, but they'll think better of it here. But lap 1 in the books in stage 2, it will be similar to the first stage, lap 1, with Proudfoot leading the way. But after we saw, as we see drivers kind of drive out here, we see Reynolds still electing to go high here. It's good in the short term, but we saw the ill effects of that high line really play its toe at the end of stage 1, where Reynolds and Gaiman really struggled for grip and pace, while the compadres around them were going a little bit more forward. So we'll see if Reynolds elects to kind of stay high for that long. We do see a car, well, we don't see it, but I saw Alfred George take evasive action in the back. Looks like he got a little loose off 2. He'll keep it pointed in the right direction. We will stay green. But that Pennzoil machine, not too thrilled with what just happened. See, Feather Place trying to make a move on Proudfoot. Proudfoot going to cover it off, though. It's going to open the door here, possibly for Oberstadt to try to get a run around the outside here. And he almost clears the 34, and he will. So put the number 3 machine in second position. And he'll slot firmly between a Presidential Racing machine and a Line Power one. Reynolds either slightly kisses the wall or slightly avoids it, because I did hear some scraping. But it looks like he's okay. I think it was Ryan Pennell in the further distance. Speaking of, in the back there, you can see two player drivers jostling position on the little timing scoring thing with Wright and Wanzing. And you'll stand this battles. Obviously, this is for position, but you can see right there in the back there, Wanzing looks like he's going to get clear of Wright there. But multiple battles forming up here. Battle for third, Ray Johns. Yep, we'll cut back to the pack here as it's just getting a little bit more spicy as that one's finishing up. Oberstadt avoids the charge here, but Featherplace looking to challenge back on Reynolds. Now Reynolds going on the inside here. He's going to take second position away from Oberstadt. He will clear, so put Reynolds up to second. Oberstadt down to third there. Place is kind of just watching there, trying to pick what lane he thinks will be the best here. As Reynolds going to go high-low. Looks like Reynolds wants a challenge for the lead here. Going to run wide. He's going to clip the wall just a bit. That's going to kill his off-speed here. Got a little stuck. That's going to allow Oberstadt to clear him. So Reynolds went for the home run swing and ends up taking only a sack bunt. And he'll fall down to third. But that's not going to stop the 7 as he'll keep trying that high line. Oberstadt could not get clear there of the 7. He'll have to leave the door open. Looks like it's just a little loose coming off of 4. It's going to check him up just enough that it's going to allow Featherplace the challenge and give Reynolds a bit of breathing room. So put Reynolds up to second, Featherplace up to third. Now Oberstadt going to fall down to fourth. One of the biggest movers after the last restart is Daniel Michel. As you look on the timing of scoring, he is up to 5th position. Remember, finished second in the first stage. Came down a couple times to top off, make sure that car was packed full of fuel for this longer stage. And he's now back up to 5th position, looking to try to get up here and jostle the lead of the race. You can see it right there in that black and blue 25 machine, just behind Oberstadt and Featherplace. Speaking of, Reynolds was thinking about making a move there. Saw him kind of push the 22 for a second, but have to check that run up. Speaking of the battle here with Oberstadt and Michel. Michel is going to get the run here, presumably on the high side. Oberstadt not going away here. Yeah, top 5 all under a blanket here. Unlike in stage 1 where cars were able to kind of pull away, here's not the case. Reynolds clips the wall just again, and that's going to allow both Michel and Oberstadt, well, Oberstadt for sure, Michel not so much, to get runs on the 7. And look at that, Featherplace going to try to make a move for the lead of the race. He's going to be on the corner panel of the 22. He's going to have a chance here, but he's going to not be able to keep it there. And now the 3 wide for third. So we hit lap 43 here. Car's trying to challenge for position here. Jumping from high to low like it's no one's business. One time they'll be on the high side, next time they'll try the low side. Wherever they think the car will be the fastest, they're willing to throw it. The only probably downside is in this hard race, they're probably burning up themselves a bit more than some of the other cars in 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's allowing Wanzing, Wright, and Game to kind of get reeled back up here. You can see in the hard shot, battle for third, possibly forming Reynolds and Michel. Michelle gonna have the inside. Reynolds on the high groove. Michelle will clear for third. You can see Reynolds having a fender and then the corner panel looking to try to join the frame. Michelle will get the run off. And Feather Place will hold spot. So Reynolds, though, he knows he's got the speed in that 7. He wants to kind of flex the muscle. But he's also been the most unstable, if you will, going from 2nd to 4th to 5th to 3rd. Just kind of fluctuating up and down here. Not finding really a true home here. Someone that has found a true home is that number 22. He's held off all challengers in this second stage. No one's been able to get a run on him. But it looks like Michelle looks like he's going to try to break that trend. He's going to have the chance on the high side. Favorable rain to get runs off corners here. And he's going to clear the 22. So we have a new race leader for the first time in 46 laps. It is a 25, Daniel Michelle. And now how Proudfoot react, being in a bit of dirty air now. How will he react to this? Proudfoot will keep second though at the moment as Feather Place was challenging there, but cannot get a fender in. So now Michelle leads the way here, going to try to get some separation from that massive gaggle. As you can see, another car, though, that's cut his way up for the field as well. That number 9 is Steph Wanzing. He's now back in the top 5 here, as he had that little mistake in stage 1 that put him back in the 7th at the end of stage 1. Came down, pitted off sequence. Came in the first time, they came the second time, top off. Now back up to the top 5 here. Hey, Michelle able to kind of pull away a little bit here. Obersat and Feather Place can see in the hard shot there, fighting for third. Looks like Obersat will get clear of Feather Place, so four different teams take up the 4 top spots as we're about to hit lap 50 here with 20 to go in the stage. Again, a little race keycap here is around lap 50, just for those tuning in a bit late. Stage 1 went to the 22 of Proudfoot, but right now, 20 to go in stage 2. Daniel Michelle leads the way. 11 cars took the flag here, 10 on the lead lap. Ryan Pinnell, the only car right now, 1 down at the moment. As we're focused on a battle here for second place between Proudfoot and Stefan Oberstat, and now the battle for fourth, I should say, between Wanzing and Feather Place, as Wanzing has found a lot of late run pace in that number 9. As he's looking to try to get back in the firmly into the top 5 here. One car that's really been struggling a bit, though, as I'm looking at the timing and scoring here, is Tommy and Reynolds, who has now fallen back down to 6th, and he is continuing to fall here. He's now going to probably get passed by David Wright. As yet, you'll see it firmly confirmed there on the timing and scoring. But that 7 really burned up his stuff, and I kind of pondered that high side is quick, but it seems that he kind of struggles in the long run here, keeping that machine and the tires under him. As he'll now challenge back here to try to get back to 6th position. as both he and Gaiman will get around Tommy Reynolds. Now Reynolds will fall down to 8th, and this is not the race 7 needs right now at the moment. Again, he's got that good short run pace, but if we go caution 3, that 7 could be in a bit of a world of hurt here. Back up front, though, Proudfoot getting a run here for the race lead, as he wants that lead back. And he's reeled in that 25. Last time by, had a 10th faster than that 25 machine. He's looking poised to maybe try to take this lead. Ooh, is it getting pretty racy up front here? Stefan Oberstadt going to try to take second position away from Proudfoot. But Proudfoot will hang on, as you can see through timing and scoring. He's not able to complete the pass. Now, it should be worth noting that, remember, stage 1 ended on for 25 laps, and we're going at least, because again, we went green about on lap 30, and they have to go now 40 laps, so that's an extra 15 laps to add on to the fuel tank here, and it makes me wonder if there's any question marks on if you have enough fuel or not, because we saw Michelle come down twice, 3 times I should say, first time for tires and fuel, second time to top off, third time to come off, right in ones, and both came down next time as well. Put some extra fuel in the machine. So it makes me wonder if these cars are struggling a bit here for fuel, and maybe they'll have to make a pit stop in the stage. And if it turns, someone else will have to maybe try to stretch it.
One thing I will say is that, despite the smaller field count, obviously, with some drivers away on duty, other drivers obviously going through technical issues, kind of like what we're going through right now, there's still a lot of action going on track right now. Homestead has gotten a lot of flack for maybe not being as entertaining as it used to be. I think we're seeing right now kind of a bit of the opposite. This track has been very entertaining, like top to bottom. You have battles all the way throughout the field that are just not stopping at any particular point. It has been very interesting sort of following along here as we still try to work on the technical issues on our side to make sure everything's as polished as it can be for the rest of tonight's race. Just watching through and looking at all the battles here, Fetter Place, Michelle, and Oberstadt showing up tonight big time in a very necessary event for him if he wants to make the championship 4 for Phoenix. This is a good race right now with him sitting in 3rd. And obviously, then you look at Tommy Reynolds down a little bit further down in the bottom, who already had a bad race last time out at Vegas. You went from having a 10-point buffer in to being 16 points out after one race. So a big swing there for him, and he's not having a great stage right now. The only takeaway for Reynolds is that he's guaranteed stage points right now with Ryan Pennell 1 lap down. But that is another, catcher's tail because everyone's getting stage points effectively.
Yeah. With Ryan Pennell being 1 down, you are correct in that front. But would tend to go in the stage here. It's just interesting because Reynolds was looking good at... It's going to be interesting because obviously we still have Martinsville to come. And things could change there. But it's worth noting that because it was looking like Reynolds was going to be good at Las Vegas, and then that one little incident with Michelle ended up kind of putting him behind the 8 ball, if you will. And now having good short run pain, but actually I'll hold that thought. Oberstadt is coming in this time by. So it is stop time for at least some of these cars here, and they will elect to serve. So we'll see if maybe Reynolds is playing the long game here, but we'll see it in the question. But Oberstadt coming in, looks like he'll be alone. And if he's the only one that can't make it, this could be detrimental to that 3 chances of getting some good stage points here. or any stage points is because Ryan Pinnell could easily, well, we'll see because when it all cycles. No other calls yet. So they come off a 2 here again. Everyone's kind of just found their rhythm here. We saw a lot of racing here. They're going to get around Alfred George here. Going to put him 1 down as well. So now there's a bit of concern as well, because if you're Stefan Oberstadt, obviously you'll get the wave around if no one else pits. Again, assuming everyone tries to push it here. But the downside is that you'll have to take the wave around and start tail end and not pit with the rest of the field and be at a slight disadvantage for the final stage. And at the rate we're going, it doesn't look high. We're going to get a caution. So Oberstadt going to try to hope that maybe he can get around this 2 here and be firmly the 1-1 down here, which is not impossible. As you can see him right there in the forest shot there, as he's currently side by side with a 9. So it's not impossible for him to get around this 2 here, be the first 1 down. Right there, ready for the read again. Stage 1 winner, Proudfoot, looking to try to take the lead. Cannot get the charge in necessary. He'll slot back into second. And there's also the possibility Oberstadt could unlap himself. He's getting the run. He's got the fresh tires. Looks like he'll try it. Looks like Oberstadt going to try to get a charge here around Proudfoot here. Again, it's a race against the clock. You will get the lucky dog at the rate it's going. Reynolds is just up the road, though, by maybe about 5 or 6 seconds. At the rate they're going, they won't catch the 7. So it's a bit of a situation. Obviously, if you can get around him. Oh, but Oberstadt going to make a mistake off of 2. See him go way low. That's going to take him out of contention for getting his lap back the hard way, or the long way, I should say. But luckily, he's still around Alfred George, so he should be the lucky dog. But now he's got to hope this pack doesn't catch the 7. He's hit 3 to go in the stage. And Shell Proudfoot dueling it out. But at the very least, if it does hold, it's good points for Wanzing, as he did have a bit of a poor stage 1. Good recovery if everything holds. But Proudfoot going to be on the inside of Michelle. We got a race here for the lead. And he will actually clear the 25. So put Proudfoot back up to the lead here with 2 to go in the stage. Pits are now officially closed, so everyone's going to have to make it back. If you pit now, you're taking emergency service, and you will start at the tail end with the longest line. And how aggressive does Michelle want to be for an extra stage point? Right now at the moment, he doesn't probably need it as much, as he's accumulated a lot more than the cut line David Wright here. Getting 5 for the first stage, and if everything holds here, would get only 3 advantage, so you have a net gain of 8 for the 2 stages. But 1 extra point could help, especially in crucial time if you can't pull the win off tonight. Coming off a 225, going to get a run. He's going to challenge. I thought he was, but it looks like he'll back out of it, or can't fully complete. Maybe try to set up something here on the front stretch. As they come off a 3 and 4 here, Michelle going to try to get a run, but it's not going to be enough. Proudfoot is going to win stage number 2. It is going to be Proudfoot, Michelle, Wanzing, Feather Place, Wright with a good stage there, Gaiman, Themester, Oberstadt, George, and Pinnell will all finish out there with points for stage number 2.
Importantly, Oberstadt will get the free pass.
Mm-hmm.
And Reynolds will not score stage points.
Yep. And Reynolds will have to take the lucky dog too, so it's just...
The wave round, yeah.
Yeah, wave round, sorry. Not lucky dog, wave round, my mistake. But yeah, that's just bad, the worst there for that 7. He's going to have a lot to work through, and as everyone pits here, obviously, Oberstadt will stay out here, pit next time by, but the rest of the field will come down. So as drivers elect to take 4 tires here, obviously get their service here. See how they all cycle out here. So I'm doing some stage math here just to confirm some things here. Michelle will be the highest play. Obviously, it's probably confirmed if you were following along here, but he will be the driver that scored the most stage points for a playoff driver at 18. Obviously, his Proudfoot swept both stages. He'd get 20. But should be worth noting after that, Feather Place, who is currently second in the standings coming in tonight, gets 15 to his titles. Gaiman, who's already locked in, had 12. Oberstadt will actually end up getting 9, which will be below both David Wright and Seth Wanzing, with Wright having 11. Seth Wanzing will have 12. Tommy Reynolds will only get 3. So out of the playoff drivers and needed good stage points, Tommy Reynolds, who was below the line, only getting 3 stage points, is not going to help him that much. Running some quick crunches right now, just using primitive math. Right now, I can basically kind of confirm that the 4 drivers in at the moment is Gaiman, Feather Place, Michelle, and Wanzing will be the 4 drivers currently in. If the playoffs, Rob, if the race were to finish, what have you, they'd be the 4 in right now with the stage points cumulative and above the line, with Gaiman obviously having his win at Las Vegas. So we're going to have choose. We're at 2 degree right now, so we're coming to 1, so we're going to see choose this time by. So they choose an effect here. Proudfoot going to go low. Michelle will go high. That will make up the first row. It's the rest file in. It's going to be Wanzing, Feather Place, row 2. Wright, Gaiman, row 3. Row 4 is going to be, I'll just confirm as I go through my own perspectives here, Oberstadt and Themester. Actually, yeah, Oberstadt, Themester will be row 4. And then with the rest of the cars being 1 down, which is odd. Reynolds does not get his lap back, so he's actually still 1 down, at least for my timing and scoring. So Reynolds and Pinnell are both 1 down. So again, it's an odd situation, but Reynolds needs a caution or something in order to try to get back in this, or get ahead and then caution or what have you. But he needs a caution in order to try to get back in contention in this thing. Pace car going to pull on in here. Green is out, and away we go to start the final stage here in the ARCS 200 at Miami. Proudfoot gets a great restart there. Wanzing actually times it just well as well. It looks like he'll clear his teammate Michelle, and he'll be up into second.
Better play shot up the track there.
Mm-hmm.
And the threat now from right as Wanzing gets loose.
Yeah, a little loose there. We saw that in stage 1 where he had that similar incident. Luckily, he won't lose as much. He'll keep his foot in it, but now he'll fall back down challenging for the top 5.
Overstat trying to charge his way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Getting around Feemster there for 7th. Just behind this battle, you see Overstat just get clear. Single file so far as everyone finds the rhythm once again.
Mm-hmm. You see Ryan Pinnell gets a little loose off 2 there in the long shot. Seems like the exits 2 and 4, primarily 2, have been a bit of a tricky spot for a lot of these cars. Ooh, Gaiman got loose. Gaiman cutting up the surface. He'll hit the wall right in front of Feather Place. That will bring out the caution. The caution that technically Reynolds needed, but not down a lap. So we'll go to Pinnell. But Gaiman, big hit there, along with Feather Place having some damage. We'll see how it affects the 34 and the 61.
We'll go back and look at this while we're at it. This was Gaiman as he got loose. We'll go back. I think we went back by a lap here.
Yeah, it's out of 4, so you'll see it sets up here. Already a little loose out of 2, but it's going to be coming out of 4 where you're going to see him fighting that thing loose. There's Ryan Pinnell's little excursion. And then the thing just starts kicking.
Right
as it saved. Yeah. Corrects, overcorrect. It gets overcorrected, and then the other place taps in. Everyone else avoids. Yeah. Now the question really comes down to, obviously, how did that affect the 34s? He did pile in there. Does he have any engine damage he needs to fix? And if he does, we have to burn a fast repair for that. Because all cars are protected 1. Is it the race in the pit lane here? Oh! I think the 9... Ooh. So I was just watching the pit lane entry and exit there. The 25 and the 9 baited the field while other cars came in. So he waits the last second, almost saw the 9 hit the barrels, but luckily they will not do the same. So Michelle, Wanzing, Wright will all elect to stay out here. Everyone else coming on in for service. As we're looking here, it looks like it's going to be fuel only for Proudfoot and Oberstadt. Feemster looks like he took 2 tires, while Feather Place and Gaiman both electing to fix damage. Feather Place away, 19-second stop for him. Gaiman looks like he may have burned fast repair for his troubles. He's away as well. So it looks like the damage Feather Place describes is not enough to really affect the engine and the horsepower, but he'll get some 4 fresh tires, along with fixing up the car. More importantly, keeping that fast pair in the back pocket just in case if it's needed. So yeah, the one downside of that caution was Reynolds was not able to get back on the lead lap as he was behind Ryan Pennell when the caution occurred. Fifth place actually coming back in here again. So it looks like it wasn't completely fixed up here, or maybe he just took tires and wants just to burn the fast pair now. Yep, he will burn a faster pair, and he will come back out here. So fifth place will actually use his fast pair in the end. The way he will fly. So 34 not taking any chances here, but it does leave him vulnerable if something were to happen. So we're going to see choose in effect here. Michelle will have choice. First time a driver not named Proudfoot will have choice and first dibs of choosing. And Michelle will elect to go high here. His teammate Wanzing will go low. As the rest file in, you'll see here on the screen, Wright will go low, Proudfoot will go high. They'll make up the first two rows, then Oberstadt, Feemster will make up row 3. And it looks like it will be Gaiman and Featherplace making up row 4. And then Ryan Pennell and Tommy Reynolds will make up the last row. 10 cars still running. Speaking of, we'll do a quick rundown here. 10 cars still running at the moment. Alfred George took it behind the wall. 9 cars on the lead lap. Tommy Reynolds, current playoff driver Tommy Reynolds, currently 1 down. Looking to get at least hopefully 1 more caution, not being the caution, so we can get back on said lead. So pace car going to come on in. Green flag is out and away we go. Shell gets a great launch there. And as the rest of the cars file around here, you can see that Gaiman going to try that high side here to try to get a few extra spots on restart. Get around that 21 machine. So put him up the 5th. Remember, Gaiman's one of those cars that took 4 tires under that last pit stop service. One of the few cars that did that elected to come in. So he's going to have the advantage here, at least a little bit in comparison. But as the run goes on, it could favor that 61 if he doesn't burn up his stuff. Along with Featherplace and a few others. So back up front, Proudfoot was able to reclaim the lead from Michelle. Proudfoot takes the lead back. He's been a dominating front up front. Michelle not going to allow him to get too far away. You can just see right there, getting a run. Could easily take this lead back here. So they're side by side down the front stretch here. Two still side by side. And the driver giving an inch here. Obviously, Proudfoot wants to get that W for his own pride. Michelle wants to get it so he doesn't have to worry about Martinsville next week. Let's not forget, Wanzing's right there in tow as well. We'll just see him in that shot, in that Miller Lite car. He also is in a situation where if he wins, he doesn't have to worry about next week either. So there's incentive for him to try to rustle it up here. Now, what's kind of interesting to note here is we're on 89, about to be on 90 in a minute here with about 44 to go. It's worth noting that Featherplace is not really carving his way up through the field as quickly as we saw Gaiman did. Both came in, obviously, for service. Featherplace obviously started a little bit deeper just because he came down twice, but Gaiman was able to get his machine up to fourth after starting third row, while Featherplace started in row 4. It's kind of just stayed there. Maybe Featherplace playing a bit of a long game here, but see how it all plays out. Speaking of, you can see on the time of scoring, Featherplace was able to get clear of Pinnell, so Featherplace up to 7th. But it's basically, it feels like the pin of the comp with the storm here. Cars just trying to make sure they can get to the end here safely. Don't want to obviously wreck the machinery, bring another caution, bunch up the field, and basically kind of kick a hornet's nest. The top two here kind of in nose and tail, and then don't forget about Wanzing, Gaiman, and Oberstadt. All within a second of race leader Proudfoot. Could easily join this fray. See the race, the battle, the lead hanging on here. So Michelle is keeping, again, Proudfoot honest. Look at the last couple laps. Advantage has been in the favor of Michelle by a couple tenths, but not enough to really get a run. Proudfoot going to cover that inside line off. Going to check up that 25. Very late lunge there. Michelle not too thrilled. Going to try to get a run off the corner here to set up. Won't get it done, but you can see in the background there, Gaiman also trying to make a move on Wanzing. And he will get it done. He'll drive it in deep. And it looks like Gaiman's now up to 3rd. It's that time by. We're going to be under 30 to go here. Sorry, 40 to go, my mistake. So we hear car clip the wall just a tiny bit. Looks like no one, relatively was okay. I think it was Feemster a little bit back that had a little trouble with the wall. We stay green. Yeah, speaking of, I think it was Feemster had that little tap with the wall. He's now fallen down to 9th position. So if that 21 is okay, it still has some pace in it. Right now, at the moment, Proudfoot is able to kind of hold off challenges here. Obviously, as the run goes on, we'll see if he can keep doing that. But right now, he seems to be the master at Homestead. Michelle is keeping that 22 honest. And with Game enjoying the fray, Michelle's going to be in a bit of an odd spot here where he can't really lay back, because if the 61 puts the pressure on the 25, the 25 is going to have to get a move on, or, as I like to say, next person up. And that will be the 61 trying to not challenge the 22 here. Speaking of, he looks like he got a good run off there, but the high side was not open. We'll have to go do a little switcheroo here. Going to try to go into one on the low side here. Going to run it deep. Just see, can't keep his foot in it. The car gets a little wobbly under power, and that's going to be the 22 keeping spot. So 22 survives the challenge there, and now Michelle going to be reeling a little bit back. Could be under attack here from the 61. Don't forget, as we see on the back this shot here, look in the background, you can see Wanzing and Oberstadt also in the distance. So the more this kind of field gets stacked up here, it could open the door for both the 9 and the 3 to reel in this pack and make this a 5-horse race. As looking at time and scoring, you can see Featherplace is a bit of a no man's land at the moment. He's about a second and a half back of Oberstadt and about 2.5 clear of Wright. So he's a bit of an island. He can find some pace though, that 34, maybe find some long run pace. He could try to join this fray with 20 and maybe or 10 laps to go. I'll have to keep the head down. See, nothing's really changed here. Gaiman's been trying to hound the back. We see Oberstadt's lost touch to the 9 and battle for second. Gaiman's been hounding the back to 25, but hasn't been able to make a move. So everyone's holding station here at the moment. Aiming again, getting the runs into the corner, but just can't set off corner. It seems like he can get it in the corner, just can't set it up, or maybe he's playing a bit of a possum here. Just waiting in the back, waiting in the distance, waiting for the chance to run. Don't want to, we saw in the first stage, he kind of burned up his stuff a little early, and it put him in a kryptonite situation. So he kind of just waiting it out here, biding your time, and you can make a run really work here. It looks like, again, close up, but not going to take the run here. Wants to make sure he saves his stuff up for when he truly needs it. And Proudfoot, you can see trying to maybe break the toe just a bit here. Not allowing that 25 to get a run. There's a little pack we're watching. It's 2 Sunny Minor Racing cars, 2 B-Trons, 1 Presidential Racing leading the train, if you will. This next time by will now be officially under 30 to go. That run game and got off the corner. He got the run he needed. We'll see if he takes it. But now with Wanzing in tow, I think he may have to force his hand, because there goes Wanzing. Gaiman maybe can't sit and idly wait around any longer. If Wanzing gets rub it, Wanzing checks up almost an Oberstadt there. Wanzi gets a poor exit, and that's going to give some breathing room to the 61, but now the 61 thinks it's go time. And he's going to be side by side with the 25 here. Look at Wanzing on the inside. Shell covered off here. This gaming got clear. Now Wanzing going to pass his teammate, possibly. He will get the job done. So Gaiman up to second, Wanzing third. Michelle, kind of the big loser, 2 for 1 loss. He'll fall down to fourth. Oberstadt almost hits the wall there. Or if he did, a little puff of smoke. And this little battling's allowed Profit to drive away. It's just under a second clear at the moment. To be exact, yeah, just about 0.95 tenths ahead. About to be a second. I think we may see a pit stop here. I'm seeing from Michelle calling out the window. He may be pitting. See if that's confirmed. He is coming in. So Michelle is in here for service. Oh, he almost sped. I think he may have sped coming down pit lane. We'll have to keep an eye on it, though. Lock up big time. We'll see if he gets the woo-woos in his mirrors. But he will be the first one in here for service. I think Steph Wanzing coming in next here, so Sunday Money Racing's second driver here coming in as well. And he is in his box as well. Oh, he's not in his box. He's coming down pit lane. Not in his box yet. Can't report Michelle did not get busted for speeding. He got it woe down in time. Played it close, but he is still good to go here, and he's away. 15 second stop, 15.10 stop for him in his box. Gaiman coming in this time by as well, so everyone in here. So Michelle looking to be the undercut here, trying to predict to get the lead. 61-34 also in as well. Upfoot staying out, though. He's going long. Oh, 61 sideways coming into pit lane. He'll get it woed. But he is in as well. These drivers are making this pit lane entry a little more tricky than it needs to, but they don't want to lose time. You want to get in as aggressive as you can. This could be the tenths in difference between being ahead or being behind. Proudfoot coming in this time by as well. So the question is, can Michelle's undercut work here and jump Gaiman and the competition around him? So Oberstadt will take the lead. You'll see Gaiman and Featherplace on the Axis road here. And it looks like, telling the tale here, it's hard to tell stuff you don't have a map on because SDK's faults here, but it looks like Michelle is going to not jump the 61 here, but it's going to be close. As Gaiman is able to make the overcut work here, and he'll keep second, but Michelle looks like he's going to challenge. Side by side for what will be eventually be second as it cycles through here. As Proudfoot will presumably come out comfortably with the lead, which he actually, it looks like it could be close. Yeah, it's going to be close here for the leader. Proudfoot's on the entry road here. He's going to lose the lead here. Just in the background, you can see it. Proudfoot's going to fall down to third. So Michelle's undercut works. He gets the run he needs, and he'll take the lead here. Gaiman going to be in tow, and now Proudfoot went the longest, will have the advantage on the tires, but now we'll have to try to repass cars ahead. This is the first time in a while he's been farther down the third. Most of his race has been first or second. Now he's in, well, will be technically third. Right now he's technically in sixth because Oberstadt, Pinnell, and Feemster have not pitted yet. But when they do take their service, the lead will cycle out to Michelle. Speaking of, Oberstadt looks like he could be, well, I could say Michelle, Gaiman, and Proudfoot looking to get their laps back here, but Oberstadt going to kind of throw a block here a little bit, trying to run his line. Michelle going to go low. Gaiman going to follow suit here. And Proudfoot will follow in as well. So Oberstadt those three will get their laps back, and now will officially be back on the lead lap. Wanzing, who looked like he had an okay pit stop, but had a very low, slow pit time in comparison to his cars, took it more conservative, and that's why he's way far back right now, not in this fray. Because he was close to battle, but he had a 45-second pit lane time in comparison to the cars around him with 43, so conservative, the dangers of going conservative in your box cost him 2 seconds, and that shows quite aggressive in the track, because he's fallen down to will be de facto 5th when it all cycles through here. Oberspat hits his box here, gives the lead up to Ryan Pennell. Pennell and Feemster going long here, hoping that a caution were to come out. They could gain track position. Proudfoot, though, Gaiman loses a little bit of touch here. Proudfoot going to charge up here. Now Proudfoot's in second. Well, de facto second. So the undercut has worked a treat for the 25. But obviously the only downside is that when this run reaches its natural conclusion, is that 25 going to have enough tire wear left, or per se have that advantage? Will the advantage that the 22 gets for going the overcut be strong enough that he can get around that 25? $18 to go here. Michelle has the de facto lead. Unless Pennell and Feemster have the magical fuel cell to try to get to the end of this thing.
Feemster and Pennell, they have gone 36 and 37 laps since their last pit stop.
And we know from stage 2, 40 laps is what they made it from stage 2 to stage 3, or final stage, I should say. So they can go at least a couple, but
Average George went the longest run, and he went 44 laps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the number is right now. Then again, you look at where everyone's at right now, 37 plus 7 doesn't get you to 134 by any means if you're Ryan Pennell.
Nope.
So
at this point, again, you're hoping for a caution or something to try to basically gain track position. As almost everyone's gotten their lap back from them, they would still net lose, but they would have the advantage on tire, though. So that Feemster is in his box, so now so he's gone as long as he thinks he can dare. He is in. And Ryan Pennell coming in this time by, so that will hand the lead over to the 25. The race will be on from there. Got Daniel Michel here. Bit of a Daniel Michel looking to try to lock his way in. Meanwhile, you got Spoiler Proudfoot in his mirrors, who's looking to try to be, like I said, a spoiler, a non-playoff driver trying to take a win away from a playoff driver. And then you got Gaiman as well, who won last week as Vegas, looking to go back-to-back and kind of deny Michel a chance to lock his way in. One of these 3 cars is likely to win this race. As Feather Place, the next car is about 2 back of this we're watching. 3 seconds back of Michel, 2 seconds back of Gaiman. So unless he can get on his horse along with Wanzing, this fight for this win is going to be between these 3 cars we're currently seeing on our screen.
right now, as things currently run, Michelle's got a half-second gap on Proudfoot. So we'll see and we'll see if Josh Gaiman can make any inroads too. It seems like Gaiman's stuck about a second behind.
Mm-hmm.
Proudfoot catching up and getting right there within 2/10. With 10 coming into 9 laps to go.
And Proudfoot's been knocking on the door for this win ever since he's joined the series at Watkins Glen. He's been knocking. He wants to get this win. He's been close on countless occasions, but just hasn't finished it. Today, he's had the dominant car, led the most laps, won both stages. And he feels like he can get Presidential Racing its first win, and right now he's looking poised to try to do it here as he's going to put one down to 3 and 4.
And Michelle struggling.
He's not going to get the run out. Proudfoot's going to have the advantage, and it looks like he could try to clear it going into 1 here. Fly in deep. He'll pull on up, and that will be spots. Proudfoot to lead this race. Michelle is undercut at the moment, has not worked out getting him the spot, but he can't hold on. Down the second, he'll fall. Gaiman now challenging, surging back here in 3rd, looking to try to get 2nd. Ooh, little wobble there from the 25. He's really feeling some tire pressure here. 6-1's going to be on his inside here, and he should clear. So now Michelle's falling down the 3rd. Now Gaiman going to try to reel down that 22. Should be worth noting, they are going to reach some lap traffic here just up the road to the 22. Get the 21 of Feemster, the 7 of Reynolds, and the 12 of Ryan Pinnell. They will reach at least a 21 to 7 for this end of this race, and possibly the 12 as well, but we'll see on that one. 2 of those 3 cars are teammates for Brandon Proudfoot. 1 of those cars is Proudfoot teammates for Gaiman. So we'll see if any friend or foe here, they try to put up a fight, if you will. Maybe help another teammate in distress. Coming to 7 to go here. One of the things that can also affect, in the very least, is line choice. Proudfoot obviously runs low. If Feemster or Reynolds is going to catch up here, run the line he's on, it could cause him to have to change his line. Right now, being high to the wall, it looks like it's not affecting this 22's line all that much at the moment. But Gaiman getting runs here. He's going to challenge here with 6 to go here. Gap's 3/10. Last time by, Gaiman was faster. 33.50, 33.65. That run Gaiman got again. He is knocking. He just cut half of that distance away there through one swelp of a corner. 5 to go. Next up the road, as you actually can't see through the mirror, would be Reynolds, but Reynolds is still about maybe a second and a half ahead. He's currently a lap down, not playing a factor at the moment. Gaiman, though, going to try to change different lines, going to go high here. Bit slower, though. Proudfoot gains back that time he lost last time by. 4 to go here. So Gaiman's in a bit of a rock and a hard place. Seems his car's a little bit better on the low groove. But when he tries to bring it high, you can see time lost. That time by. Equal through the corner. I think Gaiman had the slight advantage on the runoff. If they were to come close and were to touch, Michelle is in the distance. Could be able to pros to capitalize. Equal lap time for both men. Slight advantage Gaiman, though, as we have 3 to go here. Does Gaiman have anything in that bag of tricks?
Coming to 2 laps to go.
Mm-hmm.
Time is closing in.
Game was able to cut a 10th out of it, but close, but he's just not finding the time or the lane.
Interestingly enough, we are almost close to the time limit too.
We are. Actually, no, because we have a 2-hour, 45-minute climb, and the lapse time's only 1:26.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, we're fine on that.
Our overlay's wrong then, because the overlay said we have 40 seconds left.
Yeah, we're still fine on that, but we're coming to the white flag lap. Proudfoot leads. Gaiman got got a little tighter, closer, but it looks like it may not be enough. He's gonna have to find a way to aggressively run his way in here. That was a deep run there by the 61. He's gonna have to start for 3 and 4. Reynolds, weirdly, Proudfoot's gonna get a toe off Reynolds here. He'll drive it in deep. Gaiman just the same. Proudfoot parks it on the corner. Game gonna try to get the run off of 4, but it's not gonna be enough. As Proudfoot comes off of 4, he's gonna be the spoiler. He's gonna win here at Homestead and get his first win in the A² Cup Series. Gaiman will come home in 2nd. Michelle will come home in 3rd. Feather Place 4th. Wansing 5th. Stefan Oberstadt 6th. Wright 7th. Ryan Pinnell 8th. Kevin Feemster 9th. Tommy Reynolds 10th. But Proudfoot, long time coming, knocking on the door a lot here. And he finally gets to be the spoiler he dreamed of. And he'll get this win. So this Gaiman comes on into the pit lane here. Gonna probably see Proudfoot burn it down here. So as Proudfoot burns it down, if you are still here, do not go anywhere. We're hoping to try to get the top 3 in here for interviews. But Proudfoot's going to feel very good about this, even though does not lock him, move on to the next round of the playoffs, as he's not a playoff driver. Still feels good to always win. He'll be quite happy he won it here in Homestead.
And Proudfoot, ultimate spoiler right there, is the points will be flipped upside down with 1 race to go in the round of 8 after this.
Yeah, I'm doing some quick crunches here, see where everything unofficially stands.
I'll let you handle the math this week.
Yeah, you can handle the views. I'll handle the math.
But yeah, 1 race left in the round of 8, 2 races left in the season. Martinsville again next Sunday, 7 p.m. here on ABN Esports 1 to determine the championship 4. That'll be a fun one, as
it will be.
Short track racing to end out the season effectively. Well, Kevin does the numbers. We'll start off with Daniel Michelle, a 3rd place finisher tonight. Daniel, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
What a race. Obviously, laps led here, but it fell off at the end there. Walk us through what happened. Anything you could possibly have done to keep Proudfoot at bay tonight?
Not in particular. I had to go for the undercut. Once they had pit under that caution when Game and Better Place got together, I had to maintain my position as best I could. I stayed out as long as I could without, impeding anyone. I tried to come down the track so I can pit, but it took me a few laps. It sucks, but yeah, no, I had to undercut. I had to try and maintain, but I got too loose towards the end and they got by.
Honestly, this track, it seemed like it was a very lively racetrack. People were running the bottom, people running the top. What was the experience like for you tonight? This track, people have kind of complained that this track typically is like a 1-lane racetrack. It didn't seem like that for you. What were you dealing with in this race? Obviously, you talked about the car getting loose at the end. How was that car going for you throughout the race, and how was it trying to adjust your lines throughout the race?
Yeah, it was real tough. I was just trying my best to run the middle line on the starts to, just get myself going. I don't want to be in the way of anyone who's really trying to push in the beginning. Like we had Reynolds running the high side, we had Seth running the bottom, and I just said, you know what, take it, because at this point, after last week, after everything that happened, I took the week to just kind of collect my thoughts, because I don't know why I did what I did, and it completely went wrong. And yeah, this week was much better, and being able to run the middle lane and the bottom lane, since it felt like two lanes, it was refreshing, especially considering that last week it was really tough to run anything more than one lane.
Obviously, you helped yourself out significantly here tonight. Obviously, you entered tonight 3 points below the cut line. You scored 18 points in the stages, second place both stages, and obviously finishing third tonight. That helps you get back above that cut line here at Homestead with the race next week at Martinsville. How are you feeling going into the short track where it is going to probably be very physical?
I'm not excited. I'll tell you the truth. I am not excited. I am not a short track person. I know I won Bristol, but I do not enjoy short tracks. They are either caution ridden or the tempers flare. Just something always goes wrong on those tracks, and I really don't enjoy going to them.
You did a phenomenal job tonight, getting third place, recovering nicely after what happened at Las Vegas a week ago. Before we let you go and let you get ready for the next week here, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Third place finish tonight for Daniel Michelle from the 25 crew.
Well, I want to thank Seth. He's in the chat with me, and we're always discussing our strategies and how to run the track. And, it was really helpful this week to just have that calming presence there in the chat. And yeah, I also want to thank all the guys that came tonight. It was a really low turnout, and I'm sure it wasn't the most exciting considering there wasn't 30 cars on the track, but we tried to put a show, and front guys were all right next to each other, so I hope everything was good.
It's definitely entertaining to watch you throughout this race. Time ticked by quickly here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Danny Michelle, congratulations on your podium tonight, getting back into the top 4 with a race to go at Martinsville next Sunday. Hopefully we get to talk to you again and have you in the championship for Phoenix.
Yep, hope so.
That was Danny Michelle, third place finisher here tonight. We'll move on up the order. Talk to Josh Gaiman, second place finisher here tonight. Once again, finishing runner-up this season. Josh, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Got a copy?
I got you, Carmen.
Alrighty, what a drive. Second place here. I think you kind of said it earlier pretty well yourself. It was an absolute brawl. It was a brawl all race long, not without its hiccups there for you. Walk us through, obviously, the recovery drive you had to put on tonight. Obviously being really the only incident caution of the race. It didn't stop you any.
Yeah, it's just from practice to the race, the car just felt completely different. The weather changed a lot, so it was that whole first 2 stages there. It took me to really get the car down, and because all practice I was able to go around the top and run like high 32s and just be really really fast, and then it cooled down that little bit. It got a lot of cloud cover, and the bottom just lit on fire, and just was so much faster. So once I figured that out, it was a lot better. That final stage was pretty quick and had a good pit stop. So I made a couple of mistakes trying to catch Brandon there. It was just super loose from the center off, and just didn't have the time to make anything happen really. So I just kind of had to send it in on that last lap and see if maybe one of us got more loose than the other.
It was a phenomenal battle. Obviously, you got to experience this track before because you and Prophet both raced in the HDL Cup Series race here at Homestead. What was the big difference between the race that we had on HTL and the race tonight? Because it seemed like there was a lot more moving around tonight. Was it just because there was less cars and more clean air to find, or what was the big difference in that that you took away from this race?
Ride height. This car is laying on the ground the whole time, and just definitely the car that we had for HTL was a lot tighter. It didn't like to follow people, but it could handle the bumps a lot better, which I guess is really its one redeeming quality. This setup here was in the right weather conditions, you could run the top and bottom all day. But of course, nothing stays perfect forever, so it was just it was a matter of just kind of saving that right rear and not burning it up too early. But yeah, it was definitely a lot looser than that setup was, so it was just kind of putting the car where it felt comfortable.
Obviously, a phenomenal race once again for you here for the A Squared Cup Series. Obviously, you walked into this race all well and good, having a race win from last week at Vegas. The second place helps keep that momentum going. Martinsville next week, it's pretty stress-free for you, but what are you expecting from that race?
Well, it's as long as it's not like the follow-up Martinsville race last year, I'll be really happy because I got wrecked about 32 times in that race. And I think everyone was about ready to not race anymore by the end of it. So hopefully it's just, not your typical Martinsville race in iRacing.
Well, it's going to be interesting no matter what to see. Obviously, it's going to be easy for you because you're already locked in, you're already safe, and you've got that momentum pretty well stored up here. But it will be interesting to see who all tries to make a fight to make it into the championship four to join you in that battle in Phoenix here in a couple weeks' time. Before we let you go, though, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, we get to see you again tomorrow night in the HL Cup Series race at Myrtle Beach. But if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours before we get to see you probably in a little bit more stressful situation. Probably a good test for next Sunday.
Yeah. I'll definitely shout out the guys at Beatron. Stephen did awesome tonight. That little bit of luck he needed was definitely there tonight to get a good finish. And shout out McConey Setup Shop, 213 somewhere, W Energy for riding along all year. And shout out to the ARCS guys for putting this on and putting up with us, and you for putting on these broadcasts and everything you're doing.
It's absolutely appreciated. Again, a phenomenal drive here, Josh Gaiman, winning last week at Las Vegas, following up with another podium here, a second place tonight at Homestead with Martinsville coming up next Sunday. Josh, enjoy the podium. We'll be seeing you again very shortly.
Absolutely.
That was Josh Gaiman, second place finisher here tonight. We got one more person to talk to, and it is none other than the race winner, Brandon Proudfoot, one-time HTL Cup Series winner, and add a squared Cup Series race win to his name here tonight at Homestead. Brandon, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
All righty. Race winner once again, this time for the first time in the ARCS A Squared Cup Series. And it was an absolute fight from start to finish for you. Walk us through it and walk us through your race. You got a car to beat tonight.
It was difficult for sure. I mean, early on in practice, everybody was running the top, and it seemed like once that session switched over to qualifying, it just did a 180, and the bottom was the place to be. Car was relatively balanced. You can kind of put it anywhere you wanted it on the track. But if you were behind somebody, you were a little tight, and if someone was behind you, coming out of the corner was just terrible, which you've seen with Michelle there at the end whenever me and Gaiman were behind them. Aero played a big part as far as tonight, and it was really about where you could get your gains and where you could get the clean air, depending on what your symptoms were, is what got you forwards tonight.
You did a phenomenal job here this weekend. Obviously, one of the best cars out of the field, swept both stages, won the race tonight. It seemed like it was a long time coming. All the second place finishes, all the podiums that you had, just since Watkins Glen, a phenomenal job so far this season. What is that vindication finally breaking through and getting a race win and being able to be the first driver to play spoiler in this series for the playoff drivers here?
It's definitely validation for sure. Part of it's difficult to try and play spoiler and not get into anybody. Whenever you got drivers like really majority of the people that showed up tonight that are in the playoffs. You got Ebersat, Wansing, Fetterplace, Michelle, and Gaiman as your top 6 behind me. Any one of those guys you can get beside and get within inches, netcode allowing, obviously, and really race door to door. But not being in the playoffs with those drivers, you want to give that extra foot or so to make sure that netcode can't happen, and just that little bit could put you in a little bit of the marbles, or if you're too low, that could put you on the apron and cause things. So it's in the back of your mind, not as a playoff driver, to race them hard and do the best that you can as an individual, but at the same time not start a hornet's nest which you don't belong in.
Well, you did a phenomenal job tonight, race respectfully all season long so far, and finally breaking through to get your first win in the ARCS A² Cup Series, to add along with your win in the HTL Cup Series earlier this year. A phenomenal drive with a couple races left to go at Martinsville and Phoenix coming up here. You've already played spoiler once. How are you feeling about the next 2 races? Short track racing might be a little bit right up your alley too.
We'll have to see. I'm really good at getting sideways, and this track, especially with the setup we had tonight, was a little bit more pertaining to that. I'm used to half miles, both in a real life sense as well as on the sim doing the dirt side, so Martinsville will definitely be a welcome. And the other track, not so sure. I haven't raced there a lot, but we'll have to see.
It's going to be a lot of fun to figure it all out. Again, we get to see you tomorrow as well at Myrtle Beach for the HTL Cup Series. But before we let you go, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to before you get ready for tonight's race, for tomorrow night's race at Myrtle Beach, the floor is yours. Congrats on your first career win in the ARCS A² Cup Series.
Thanks, Carmen. Thanks to everybody over at Presidential Racing for having me come on. Everybody that joined us here on ABN Esports for the Miami 200, doing A². A little bit lower car count is what we're used to, but that's kind of just nature of the beast with the lower amount of playoffs. Everybody in ARCS that does A², and anybody that does background, Ryan, all the admins do penalty stuff in the background to keep us all in line, per se. I'm going to go ahead and head out of here, get some sleep. We'll see you all tomorrow for the HTL Cup Series at Myrtle Beach. Have a good night, everybody.
Absolutely. Good night, Brandon, and congrats again on the race win here in Homestead.
You made our job a lot easier there.
Absolutely.
I do have some updated standings real fast to quickly throw out here. Obviously, these are unofficial. If you do want the official standings, they will be updated through A²'s social media at ARCS Racing, or obviously you can go to ABN Esports on social medias, or the Discords as well for ABN, or ARCS somewhere down the Twitch description, what have you. They'll have updated standings there when they do get completed. But right now, obviously Gaiman won last week. He is locked in. But moving further down the list, we got Brandon Featherplace rocking second position, 11 points above the cut line. Then third and fourth, dead tie, and that is between the two Sunday Monday Racing teammates in Seth Wansing and Daniel Michelle, both at 4,088, and they occupy the last 2 spots in. Then David Wright, currently in 5th, 8 points back. Then Stefan Oberstadt, 18 points back. And Tommy Reynolds takes a big hit, not getting any real stage points, and finishing only in 10th, 27 points back. And Emma Kruger not starting tonight, needing a drop round, basically in a must-win situation going into next week. So obviously these will be calculated, official points will be tallied up. But looking at the moment, it is going to be a situation where if you're Kruger or Reynolds, you're probably in a must-win situation. If you're Oberstadt, if you have a good first and second stage, you could point your way in. If other drivers have bad ones, but probably a must-win. As for the rest, it could easily change hands. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. And if a driver from the below side, like Tommy Reynolds, Emma Kruger, Oberstadt, Wright, is able to win that race, it then puts the pressure on both Sunday Monday Racing teammates to try to get in.
Again, that's the point situation with 1 race to go in the round of 8. Again, Josh Gaiman is safe. Everyone else still fighting very much within tooth and nail positions here, either in a must-win or in a very interesting position to try to score as many stage points as possible at Martinsville next Sunday. Again, we'll be live next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, from Martinsville Speedway, the Paperclip, the last race in the round of 8. We'll also be live tomorrow and Tuesday. Kevin will be joining me on Tuesday for the HO Truck Series. on ABN Esports 2. Tomorrow night, it's me and Christina Ryan at Myrtle Beach for the HTL Cup Series. Both of those go live about 8 and 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, respectively. It's going to be a lot of fun here as we get busy once again. Monday and Tuesday nights are going to be picking up in activity here on ABN. But on behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios and ARCS and all of its partners, my commentator Kevin Young, I'm Carmen, Sienna. Thank you all so much for dealing with us and bearing with us here on a very hectic and very technically trying Sunday evening. We'll see you tomorrow night at Myrtle Beach and on Tuesday at Daytona. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun this week. See you tomorrow night. So long, everybody.